There's possibility for some pretty decent. It looked like a pretty classic Southeast U.S. setup that just never materialized, and I think some of the weak mid level lapse rates, which is what lapse rates are for those who don't know, is the rate at which temperature drops as you go up in the atmosphere. And moist air, as much as everyone hates that word, moist air uh, cools slower than dry air does. And typically, you want to get some more. You want to get a little bit more drier air aloft. That way, your warm, moist air from the surface can just rise right through that because it's not going to cool as fast as the environment around it. So if you picture it this way, right, you all know the adage warm air rises. So if you're cool, if you take a bubble of warm air, which is kind of how we visualize thunderstorms, if you have a bubble of warm air and it's warmer in the environment around it, it's just going to keep rising. And that's what creates, and the bigger separation between the environmental temperature and the parcel temperature, we call this bubble the parcel, which, funny story. My girlfriend and I are adopting a kitten tomorrow, and we decided on the name Parcel for this exact
Did
reason.
you didn't tell me that. That's awesome.
Yeah. Her name is going to be Parcel, which
That's
I
adorable.
love. So you have these air parcels that they rise, and the bigger difference between the environmental temperature and the parcel temperature creates stronger upward motion. And the stronger that upward motion you get, the stronger the storms tend to get. Now, when you have sort of a little bit more water laden mid levels of the atmosphere, and by mid levels, I mean thousands of feet up. Um, you get a little bit of some weakened motion there. And there's a whole factor of calculating this called CAPE, which is convective available potential energy. I'm not going to bore you getting into the weeds of that. There's a very long and nasty equation on how to calculate that, which I'm not going to put everyone through.
Oh
So,
no, we're not doing that. Um, I was going to say, I don't know, Will, if you can see my screen, but here's the GFS cape for, I'm
Mhm.
assuming what they're looking at, starting, you know, Texas, Oklahoma, and then really cranks up into these
Yeah,
more
southeast
Midwest
there.
states. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
It's interesting they don't expand the overall risk. I mean,
it
there's
is a day three.
typical thunderstorm. Yeah, and I imagine this marginal region. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe a slight gets thrown in there. Right? It's marginal. No, yeah, marginal slight. Then enhanced. So there could be a slight maybe for the northern Louisiana, south central Arkansas regions. You could see that marginal expanded probably a little bit more north and east, closer to St. Louis, up to Louisville. Could even be pushing closer to Indianapolis. We'll have to see.